This thing on?
Everybody can take a round.
This is weird, because 4 years ago, I was brand new. Is that working? Okay. I was brand new, and I got to go to 2 of these, and man, I left with so much energy. I was so excited, and I had no idea what I was doing. I still sometimes feel like I have no idea what I'm doing, but it's a thrill and a privilege to be invited on this stage and to speak to veteran agents who I recognize here, who I look up to, and who I watch all your stuff, and I'm trying to be like you. But especially to brand new agents, like who just got their license in the last 6 months. I'm so happy you guys are here. Who's working on their license, hasn't finished it yet. Awesome. These are the people that I especially want to talk to, because I want to give something back. Because when I was sitting there 4 years ago, we had Jonathan Popovich, we had Donna Rooney. Man, I just came away so inspired. So I want to try to bring some of that energy. My name is Taylor, and I'm not ashamed to call myself a salesman. I sold cars for 17 years. And neither should you be ashamed to call yourself a salesman. I know Jess Woodbeck touched on this thing. We are compliance professionals. I'm going to go back. You can go back there. We're compliance professionals. That's a term for what we do. Our job is to make people say yes, okay? We should have an extremely valuable set of skills, and we should always be developing those skills. So for me, the root of those skills is in persuasion. So I'm here to talk about persuasion skills. This is a little bit more of an academic level, but I hope you'll find it helpful. So this book, go buy a copy of it on your way home. This book was written in 1981. So it's over 40 years old. Its author, Dr. Robert Cialdini. He's a PhD of social psychology at Stanford. So this book is like the Bible of persuasion. Lots and lots of books have been written on persuasion. The book that Jess Woodbeck refers to, same kind of thing. That guy probably read Cialdini. Cialdini is he's like the Godzilla of persuasion. He's still around. He works on presidential campaigns, very high level stuff. So back in the 70s, he became sort of fascinated with salespeople, or what he refers to as compliance professionals. And so he did some experiments as a Stanford professor. He went undercover. He worked as a car salesman. He worked as a telemarketer and as a fundraiser. He has this quote about compliance professionals. They know what works and what doesn't. The law of survival of the fittest assures it. Their business is to make us comply, and their livelihoods depend on it. Those who don't know how to get people to say yes soon fall away. Those who do survive and flourish. So, by the way, really awesome content, hard acts to follow here. I love Deanna's presentation. Don't let the cute exterior fool you. She's a killer. She's an absolute murderer. And 250 a year, she made 250 by June, I'm pretty sure. She's sandbagging. Come on. I mean, Virginia Kerr and Jessica Woodbeck, what would it cost you to go get coached by those two? Those are high level pros. So that's awesome that Darren was able to get them to speak to you guys. To me as well, I'm here to learn as well, and for free. So really cool to be up here. Okay. Yeah, bring it up. Okay. So these are the 6 weapons. So in Bob's research, he categorized these 6 weapons of influence, he calls them. Reciprocity, commitment and consistency, social proof, liking, authority, and scarcity. And as I was watching the first 3 presenters, especially the first 2, I apply this filter to everything. I'm thinking, what type of persuasion are they using here? So I want to talk about, as the book talks about, how they work, how to use them, how to recognize when they're being used on you. And I want to point out that you're probably already using a lot of these things. You just didn't realize it, or you didn't know the name of it. But now you can kind of expand on that. There's a caveat here. Have you ever seen Spider-Man?
Yeah.
What does Uncle Ben say to Peter Parker at the beginning of Spider-Man? With great power comes great responsibility. So these are powerful, okay? And And it's important that as agents, our job is to act on behalf of our clients, act in our clients' best interest. And Jessica talked about the difference between persuading and manipulating. There's a fine line, there's some gray area there. So persuading is okay, manipulating is not, and you want to use these always in your client's best interest. Do we need to persuade our own clients?
Yeah.
All the time, right? You got to persuade them to work with you to begin with on that listing presentation or that first buyer consultation. You got to persuade them that you're the agent. You might need to persuade your seller to lower the price. We had that conversation lately this summer, listing agents. Your buyer client, you might need to persuade them to make a stronger offer, right? Especially if they're competing, you need to persuade them to write an offer that's going to win. You might need to persuade your seller to accept an offer that deep down is as good as they're going to get. They might need that little nudge. You might need to persuade them to paint over that purple bedroom wall before they list, okay? I've got to give you a disclaimer. I don't want to get sued. I'm not affiliated with Robert Cialdini. I'm not educated. I don't have a psychology degree. I'm not certified to train this book. I'm pretty sure he has like a huge business of certified instructors. I'm not sanctioned. So think of this as a student giving a book report to his fellow classmates. That's all I want you to look at this from. Please don't sue me. What I want to do is I want to introduce you to these concepts that have been so valuable to me. When I started getting into this stuff, this persuasion psychology, it's like a game changer. So I want to get that conversation started, and I want you to think about applying this filter. So, well, we don't need to go back, but I have the 6 Post-it notes on a shelf in my office facing my desk, and I look at those all the time, and I have the six weapons written on them, and I'm always applying the filter. Is this persuasive? Every communication I make, every email I send, every piece of content I put online, I'm thinking, is this persuasive? What kind of persuasion is this, and how is this going to work? So the first one is reciprocation, okay? Now, I'll read you a quote from the book. Most of us find it highly disagreeable to be in a state of obligation. It weighs heavily on us and demands to be removed. It is not difficult to trace the source of this feeling. Because reciprocal arrangements are so vital in human social systems, we have been conditioned to become uncomfortable when beholden. We may be willing to perform a larger favor than received, merely to relieve ourselves of the psychological burden of debt. So, Deanna was using reciprocation persuasion, right? She's reaching out to her followers and sending them a card, or $5, $10, $10 Starbucks gift card. That's like 1.5 lattes, right? That is reciprocation. We're going to give you something. So, who gives free home evaluations? Do you advertise and give free? That's very popular. Come on for realtors, free home evaluation. That's reciprocal, right? I'm giving you something. And now when you go to that listing presentation and you do that home evaluation, even better if you have nice leave behinds, nice glossy brochures you can leave behind, something that looks like it's of value, because now you're creating a reciprocating arrangement, right? Who shops at Costco? You know this lady with the cocktail weenies? I'm not eating the cocktail wiener, because my dumb ass, I'm gonna buy a whole 7-gallon barrel of them because I ate one stupid little sample, right? Have you ever taken an all-inclusive vacation in Mexico or Puerto Rico? You ever get offered a free massage or jet ski rental? All you have to do, no obligation, all you have to do is sit through this 5-hour brutal timeshare presentation where we're going to badger you to death and lock you in a room with no windows. They are using reciprocation persuasion. They're giving you something, and now you feel obligated. Well, they gave me what did that massage cost them? They probably paid the poor lady that does it like $3, and they're going to get you to buy a $15,000 timeshare or whatever. And it works. They wouldn't do it if it didn't work, right? This is a tip that I picked up from Darren Gall. We're business partners. He's in Vancouver Island. Who likes to host open houses? When I was new, I hosted open house every Saturday and every Sunday for like 2 years. And that's how I started to build some clients up. And Darren gave me this when he said, offer a refreshment as soon as they come in. Offer them a bottle of water or a Diet Coke or a juice box for the kids or whatever. You'll double the amount of emails and phone numbers you collect because of that law of reciprocation. I'll give you some other examples. So like, who patronizes their clients' businesses, right? You have to do that. If you're not doing that, you're not doing your job. For example, I have a neighbor, I just listed his house. We just got under contract last night, and he's a plumber. So that's the only guy I will ever call again for the rest of my life for plumbing and heating and for, furnace service and hot water tanks and all that sort of thing. He's my guy. I don't care. I don't know if he's the best. I don't know if his prices are the best. It doesn't matter. But I got a client for life. He wouldn't think of calling anyone else because I'm always supplying him referrals, right? That's reciprocation. I got another friend who's owns a pet store in Airdrie. I live in Airdrie, and I got pets. I got a dog and 3 cats. If you watch my Instagram, you probably know my dog, Ralph. But $150 a month in pet food. There's only one store I'm ever going to, ever. Because I know that guy is going to sell his house. He's got a house in Cooper's Crossing. Every year he's going to probably sell it this year. This has been going on for 3 years. He's probably going to sell it this year. Doesn't matter. He's eventually going to sell it. He wants to sell it. He's going to buy another one. We had, in selling cars, we taught a closing line. What was that first presentation called? Exactly what to say. Car salesmen love little catchphrases and exactly what to say in little lines like that. We practice them and we role play them on each other and stuff. But if I could, would you? That's like the classic closing line. If I could, would you? So if you can use reciprocation and negotiate it too. Right? This is powerful.
Here, do this.
This thing on? How about now?
There you go, yeah.
How about now?
You got cheese.
All right.
Forward way.
Or do I? Is this thing on? Yeah. Okay. God, I lost my momentum here. Oh, thank you. If I could, would you? So for example, like, on a car deal, it'd be like, okay, if I could get you the undercoating, would you buy the car today? That was like the closing line, right, Dean? So you can do that in a negotiation too. And the trick to making this work is get something more than you gave, right? So if I could get you that September 28th closing date, could you get me the price of $535, right? So give a little, get a lot back. That's what you're trying to do here. Okay, so that's reciprocation. That's our first one. Second one. We got commitment and consistency. So this one's tricky. This is a lot more academic. I had trouble coming up with examples that relate to real estate. But the best thing I could come up with is client testimonials. So commitment and consistency from the book refers to the human tendency to revert to habit and to fall into patterns, and trying to tap into people's tendency to fall into their patterns. And that's their habit of consistency. And to tap into their habit of consistency, you want to gain their commitment. So it's a really powerful tool. In the book, Cialdini talks about prisoners of war in the Korean War in the Red Army POW camps. They brainwashed American prisoners of war by using this type of persuasion. It goes into it. I won't go into it here, but you want to tap into people's habits. So you get their commitment to engage their consistency. Campaign fundraisers use this. And since, there's a lot of campaigning going on lately with, provincial and federal elections and that sort of thing. If you get a call from a campaign fundraiser, this is the technique that they use. They want to gain your commitment, and it'll last for a little bit. It's like just a small contribution. Hey Taylor, we could use like $20. Can you come up with $20 to help get your guy elected or whatever, right? And once they've got your commitment, then they'll engage your consistency, right? And they'll come back to you every 2 weeks and ask for ever increasing amounts until you screen your call and you start hanging up on them. So coming back to the testimonials. So these testimonials if you're not getting testimonials, you need to start today. These are so powerful. This is one of the most powerful pieces of persuasion you can use. The testimonial itself is persuasive. What I was going to talk about more is how to get that testimonial. So I get testimonials from, I think last time I checked, 70% of my clients. So we use Real Satisfied. I don't know, there's other platforms you can use for that. But I ask for their commitment. So after the deal firms up, I call my client, and you can use this line. It's pretty simple. And it's to say, hey, Angela, you're gonna get an email from a company called Real Satisfied. It's like kind of like my report card. Would you be willing to leave me like just a brief testimonial, just a little blurb? I don't need a whole essay. A couple sentences would be great. That would be so valuable to me. Could you do that for me? They always say yes. They want to help you out. They always say, and I almost always get these. And once you have these, the persuasive power of that testimonial, there's lots of different layers to it. So in terms of the commitment and consistency persuasion, you do something to the client when you get them to write this. You commit them to you, right? Or they commit themselves to you. So when Angela filled that out, she's making her commitment public. So a public commitment is a lasting commitment. So this is going to go on my, and this is real, by the way. This is I don't know, from July or something. And actually, that deal's closing today. I'm waiting for the lawyer to call. My phone's turned off. It's okay. But she's by putting her name on that testimonial, she's declaring that I'm her guy, right? I'm the person that she's chosen to meet all of her real estate needs. So just the act of them filling out that testimonial makes them a more loyal client team. And this has a lot of power in other weapons of persuasion, which I'll get to. I use this to persuade myself as well, because I'm kind of lazy. I need to kind of work to motivate myself. So who posts their solds? Who puts a sold? Every single one. I post them all. And it's part of the reason I do that, it's authority persuasion, which I'm going to get to later, and social proof persuasion, which I'll come to later. But it's also, I'm kind of persuading myself with that. I'm forcing myself to keep moving, because I know that people are watching, and I know that people, especially other agents, are keeping score. Tell me that you haven't looked at another agent's feed and counted up how many they sold in the last couple of months. Just imagine yourself. Tell me you haven't done that. So I know that that's happening, so I'm putting that out there partly to persuade myself to keep consistent, to keep working, because I know that if I go too many weeks without posting a sold there, people are going to worry about me. I don't want that. I did another thing last week. I shared a little graphic that I use, and if you follow me on here, you'll remember a little score sheet that I give to buyers, allegedly, that I claim to give to buyers. But I put that out there in public because I know a lot of my clients follow me, and it's a handy little tool I use. And if I'm being honest with you, I'm going to be honest with you, I almost never use that. But now that it's out there and now that clients have seen that, I know my clients. So I'm kind of kicking my own ass with this. I know my clients have seen that, and when I go out to show them a house, they're going to be like, "Where's our score sheets?" Right? So it's just kind of a little nudge for myself. So that's commitment and consistency. Kind of tricky, but I'm going to come back to the testimonial thing. So the next one, all right. Social proof. I got a bunch of stuff. I got a mess of stuff up here. So this is really powerful persuasion. This is widely used by realtors. Most of you are already using this weapon. Maybe you just didn't know it had a name, but now you're going to think about it through this frame, right? Quoting the book, one means that we use to determine what is correct is to find out what other people think is correct, right? So we kind of outsource our thinking. So if you've posted a sold graphic, or a top producer graphic, or a testimonial, you're sharing social proof. So other people worked with me, you should work with me too. Look at all these other people that have chosen me. Sitcoms and TV shows use a laugh track, that canned laughter. That's why I clapped at the beginning of this, because it takes a couple seconds, and then one more person starts clapping, and then three more people start clapping. Pretty soon everyone's clapping. You're clapping because everyone else is clapping. You're not clapping because I did anything. You're clapping because everyone else. That's social proof. Tips, experienced bartenders, they call it salting the tip jar, right? So being in a shift, put a couple of 10s and 20s in there, and that sends a signal like, oh, people leave 10s and 20s, so I'm gonna put money that folds instead of money that jingles in the tip jar, right? Who's seen an ad about the fastest growing or the biggest selling something? That's social proof. That's saying other people are doing it. This guy, anybody recognize it? Sorry for the grainy low res picture. Trenton Pinner, he's big in energy, right? I did a deal with him a couple years ago. But look at that. These are sorry the image is crap. Reader's Choice Awards. That's powerful. That's persuasive, right? That's really strong signal of social proof. Okay. You ever sell a house or buy a house in Brentwood? Have you ever seen a Brentwood listing that didn't say one of Calgary's most desirable communities? Like, if you have a listing in Brentwood, you got to say it's one of Calgary's most desirable communities, most popular community, Reader's Choice, top community in Calgary. That's social proof. Another quote for you here. Covered all those. Okay. Social proof is most powerful for those who feel unfamiliar or unsure in a specific situation, and who consequently must look outside of themselves for evidence of how best to behave there. So, most effective in uncertain conditions. Are we facing uncertain conditions? So this social proof is never more powerful than when you're in uncertain conditions, like interest rates, we've got market fluctuations, we've got, elections coming, we've got recession fears and inflation and all that. This is where your social proof is really, really valuable. Okay, next one. Liking. Okay. To me, liking is the most important weapon of persuasion. It's maybe not the most powerful, but it's the most important. Because the other weapons don't really work without it. And I learned in sales a long time ago, half the job is getting people to like you. So that is a form of persuasion, getting people to like you. Now, because I apply this filter to everything, I'm watching Deanna's presentation earlier. I'm going, okay, what types of persuasion she's using? Liking, right? She's putting herself out there. She's being. What were your keys? Relatable, genuine. So that's very persuasive. That's liking persuasion. Right? She's getting people to like her. People that like you will work with you. Do people like realtors? No, they don't like us. So that makes this even more important that we get them to like us. There's lots of ways to get them to like you. You can read a Carnegie book or something like that. I'm not going to get into it, but social media gives us a really good platform. People who like you will say yes. You know this guy?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I've only met him once or twice. That's Lucas Ramage. You watch his reels? They're awesome. They're hilarious. They're like world class. Like he's got amazing comedic timing and he's got the perfect sound. He's funny. He looks like he's having fun. Someone that looks like they're having fun is likable. If I wasn't a realtor, if I didn't know anything about real estate and I was searching for a house, I'd want to work with this guy because how can you not like him, right? Look how much fun he's having.
It's the beard.
It's the beard. Yeah, I got to work on my beard game here. Do you know who Matt Carr is?
Yeah.
Matt Carr is the top agent at Redline. He beat me last year for by a lot, like distant second. He's a killer. But Matt is very, very persuasive, and he's not here. He's at a conference. But Matt is someone I lean on quite a bit for advice and wisdom. I see him at the off-leash park in Energy all the time. And Matt is extremely persuasive, but he definitely doesn't see it that way. Maybe he doesn't realize it. But I shared one of his listing descriptions because every time when I'm flipping through my new listings, in my portal or whatever, I'm flipping through it. You read the top and then you work your way down. Okay, whose listing is this, right? And I can read the first sentence of a listing. Oh, this is Matt, right? So I'll read this to you. When I first looked to build on the street, yes, I am one of the neighbors. The developer told me that he felt it would be the best street in Cougars. Well, he was right. I also thought with the park in the middle of the street, what a great place for my kids to play and meet other kids. This time I was right. Every day we watch kids come together to play hide and seek, kick the can, basketball. He didn't write basketball, that's copy paste. You name it, they played. We even did a movie in the park night, and we plan on doing it again. From here, I'm not going to bore you with every little detail, since the pictures will do the home the most justice, but let's just say it's fantastic. So, all of his descriptions are like this. He tells it from like a first-person storytelling perspective. It's relatable. He's getting you to like him. He barely said anything about the house. Oh yeah, it's nice. Look at the pictures. It's got 5 bedrooms. But that's not the point. This is powerful persuasion, and again, I don't see it that way. But Matt is a master of this weapon of persuasion. Like, if you live in Airdrie, everybody knows Matt there. He's heavily involved in the community. He gives to charity. He has fundraising events. He's genuinely cares about his community and gives back. That's persuasive. So being, back to what Jess Woodbeck was saying, like being persuasive doesn't mean you have to be, sleazy or manipulative. Being like really nice is persuasive. Okay, so we can all do that. We can try. This is why I drive a 31-year-old Toyota pickup. I don't drive it all the time. It's an antique. I don't want to drive it every day. But like, I always show up to listen to presentations, and I always make sure it's in my videos. That truck has made me over 200 grand because people saw it. They're like, oh, that's a sweet truck. They get talking to them. They're like, hey, well, I double-ended a $2 million house 2 years ago because I made friends with the parts manager when I bought this truck. I'm listing an acreage on Friday for $1.3 million because a guy spotted me. He's a Toyota guy. He's driving his Land Cruiser in Airdrie. He spotted me. My name's on the back and tagged me on Instagram. So he goes, hey, I gotta sell my acreage. So that's one form of liking persuasion. Cops use it, right? Where's Brooke? He's not gonna out himself. Good cop, bad cop. That is a form of persuasion. They're getting you to like their good cop, so you'll trust it. That's how you get a confession, right? Ever heard of a guy named? Well, hang on. I'm going to read this quote first from the book. Familiarity affects liking. Often we don't realize that our attitude towards something has been influenced by the number of times we've been exposed to it in the past. So, I didn't grab one of his ads. Are his ads persuasive? What's that? His ads, their content in and of itself, not necessarily persuasive, but the volume of it. He's everywhere. Everybody knows his name. That's persuasive. That's familiarity. So you create liking, or you boost your liking through familiarity. And people that don't know anything about real estate, I mean, he gets those calls, right? He gets a ton of leads. He spends a fortune on marketing. He's on every billboard. He's on every pop-up and banner. That's persuasive. Liking persuasion, that's the core of my own personal social media strategy. My content is crap. Right? I don't produce anything. I don't edit anything. I don't script anything. I just turn on the camera and start talking. But the whole point of that, and kind of like Deanna was telling us, it's just to be myself, just being relatable, trying to get people to like me. So I also use the next one. I got a prop. I was gonna wear this. We're running out of time. We're almost done. I was gonna wear this the whole time, but maybe like this gets weird.
Net flaps in real estate aren't a good idea, bud.
No.
Not a good idea.
So authority. This is very powerful. It's very dangerous type of persuasion. It's being used on you right now. It's being used every day. Experts agree. Studies show. 97% of scientists agree. 4 out of 5 dentists recommend Colgate. Quoting the book, because their positions speak of superior access to information and power, it makes great sense to comply with the wishes of properly constituted authorities. It makes so much sense, in fact, that we often do so when it makes no sense at all. So we hear that, superior access to info. Do we have superior access to info? Absolutely we do. The matrix, we're in the matrix. We got superior access to information. Are we authorities? Our clients expect us to be authorities. We're not doing our job if we're not authorities on our business. I'm all about fake it till you make it. I faked it for 4 years. I'm almost there. I'm still faking it. But pretending I know what I'm talking about has been good for me. So people react instead of think, and they'll outsource their thinking to people in authority. I won't go too deep into this because we don't have a lot of time, but Google this or get the book, the Milgram experiment. So Dr. Stanley Milgram at Yale, a psychologist, he wanted to test how far he could go with authority type persuasion, and the results were disturbing. So he got people to, he got test subjects to come in a room with a guy with a lab coat and glasses and a clipboard, and there was a person in the next room behind glass, and they had to, I forget exactly how it worked, but they had to ask them questions, and they had to deliver increasingly powerful electric shocks to the person, the other subject in the room, who was also a volunteer in experiment. And they kept escalating the power of the shocks until the person in the room was screaming in pain and begging them to stop. And then the person in the lab coat and the glasses and the clipboard said, okay, yep, turn it up to 150 watts and shock them again. Are you sure? Yep. And until the person was writhing on the floor, screaming in pain. Now, the person being shocked was an actor, right? It was all fake. But you're a psychologist, you know this. Right? But it goes to show how far people comply with someone who appears to be a person of authority. Who posts market reports? Market reports? I mean, market reports. They're not very good. But this is authority persuasion. You're saying, you know, this is, I'm going to sort out the market for you. I'm an authority on the market. That's the signal you're sending to your followers. What you drive and what you wear can come across as authoritative. But, you know, there's a caveat with that. There's kind of an intersection there between authority and liking. You don't want to overdo it. You got to read your audience. Who keeps a vendor list? I got a 3-page long vendor list, and that's part of your authority persuasion, because our clients are always asking us for contractor recommendations, lawyer recommendations, home inspector recommendations, all that sort of thing. So keep a list, have those ready, have them memorized, and when your client asks, you got the answer for them. You're showing authority. Okay, last one. Scarcity. Right, click up there. Okay. Who recognizes this guy? I see one hand way in the back there. Who's the car salesman back there?
Bobby.
Okay. Look up Johnson Kia Badger commercials. So scarcity. This is like the nuclear option. Okay. This is the most powerful weapon of persuasion, and this is fear persuasion. Is what it boils down to. So you've got to use this sparingly, because this is where you can cross the line into manipulation, because this is so powerful, it works so well. You've got to be careful not to overuse it. Politicians overuse it. They go straight to fear. This is fear persuasion. So a person who is afraid will comply with you. Quoting the book on the scarcity principle, opportunities seem more valuable to us when their availability is limited. The idea of a potential loss plays a large role in human decision-making. In fact, people seem to be more motivated by the thought of losing something than by the thought of gaining something of equal value. So you want to persuade somebody take something away from them, right? Who is listing houses or representing buyers in the first quarter of this year? Was that fun? It was fun while it lasted, right? Offers will be presented at 6 p.m. on Saturday. It was fun while it lasted, but the scarcity principle, scarcity mentality drove that whole rush. I'm going to apologize to any buyers and agents here. During that period, I was one of those assholes that had overlapping showings allowed on my listings. And that was deliberate because I wanted 20 people in the front yard waiting to turn. But so sorry if that was you standing in the yard, but I hope you understand. And if you did it to me, I will understand. Because that creates scarcity, right? Who's used this line? Your first offer is your best offer. Okay, you said that to a seller. Has that? I mean, my first realtor, when I sold my first townhouse in 2006, he was a guy that used to sell cars. Alan, can't think of his last name, but the offer came and he goes, and I was like, I don't know. It seems kind of like, listen, man, your first offer is your best offer. You got to take this. The next one's not going to do it. That's scarcity persuasion. You ever had a really picky buyer? Really picky buyer, you showed them 40 homes, and it gets harder the longer you go. The thought of losing something will persuade them to buy it more than the thought of gaining it. So when you finally get to that home and it's everything that's on the list. You've checked off every box. It's perfect for them. It fits their budget. It's where they want to be. It's the right layout. and you can't get them to take the next step, this is a good time to use this weapon. Hey man, if you're not gonna, this house is kind of perfect, if you're not gonna buy it, someone else will. Someone's gonna be really happy in this house. Politicians, they go straight to scarcity every time. They overuse it because it works, right? Vote for me or bad things will happen to you. Or if you vote for the other guy, bad things will happen to you. This, I threw in there, you see this kind of thing in almost every listing, but a lot and location like this seldom come available and are very sought after. Hurry, hurry, all right? That's scarcity persuasion. So very effective, very powerful, just use this spirit, don't be an asshole. And one more slide, that's it, we're done. I only can have time to kind of scratch the surface of this concept, but for me, I apply this as a filter to everything, and not just at work, but in everything I do, I try to think of how is this persuasive. So if you want to talk, you want to bullshit, reach out to me. Find me on my website, Instagram. Call me, text me. You want to bounce ideas off each other? I'd love to hear from you, any of you, especially those new people that are trying to figure this business out. And before I step off the stage, I just a big thank you to Darren. He puts an immense amount of energy and passion into this, and I just feel privileged to be able to, give some of that back. And he's put the same amount of energy and passion into the agents that work with him. He's like a top agent factory, this guy. So thank you, Darren, for organizing this and bringing all that.